Hey creators, welcome back to the club. We're your hosts. I'm Akilah Friend.
And I'm Ebony Chapman.
And today we have a special person with us. Okay, you might see her on the screen right now when she's not working in the standards and practices department within some of these top entertainment companies. She is living her best life as a travel connoisseur. Okay, let's welcome our guest, Sandra J. Joseph. Sandra, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, we're so happy to have you. Okay.
Thank you.
We just got to tee it up right now because I know this episode is going to be filled with a Black girl magic. Okay. That's what we're bringing into 2022. Like, that's all it is.
What does my shirt say? Black women glow.
Yes, I love it.
Different.
Period. Happiness for all of us.
Love that. And like we said, like, yes, you have your 9 to 5, but you are a traveling boss, honey. All right. And so we see,
I love it.
Like all of the we've all seen the hashtags. We know travel noir. We know, hashtags, sisters with suitcase, whatever it might be.
Yes.
We're celebrating Black travel on social media is at an all-time high. But I do want to make sure that we share some facts with you guys as well, because I think it's important to note that it's not just on your feed or our feed. It's really such a movement right now, So 2019, for instance, Black leisure travelers spent 13% of the total leisure travel market. And so that is a spending of $109 billion on travel. And that was in 2019.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
Right. And so that's not it. That's not all. I'm going to share 2 more facts with you before we jump right in. So also 17% of Black people take 1 international trip a year and 6 or more domestic trips. I'm totally in that bucket and then some. And then lastly, Airbnb noted that 50% of Black adults travel to locations tied to their ethnic heritage, which is like 16% higher than the general population. So that's a lot of facts. That's a lot of figures. But we want to know from you, like, why do you think there's been such a surge in Black people traveling?
Honestly, I feel like Airbnb like kind of hit it on the money. I know it's a lot going on right now, like the pandemic, but even before the pandemic, we're just like trying to focus on who we are, trying to get in touch with like our culture, where we come from. And I love that. Like in 2019 into 2020, there was the year of the return where everyone was going to Ghana. And it was so beautiful. Like, yes, it not only was it a movement, but we were going home to where we actually belong and enjoying our lives, enjoying ourselves, and just like figuring out where our ancestors came from. That was just such a beautiful movement. And I love that. I'm here for it. I'm here for it every year. Every year should be a year of return, period.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That is so true. That is so true. I remember seeing those photos and I'm like, wow, I missed the boat.
Definitely FOMO for sure.
Major FOMO. I feel like there were so many people, and I have like so many great reviews of people being like, oh, I took like a travel. I was like in a travel group and I found, and I did this, and we went here, we went to Kenya, we went to blah. And people said that like when they come back, they feel so, I don't know, when they're there, they feel so connected to like what's going on.
Which I think is so great that you mentioned, Ebony, like travel groups. I've done travel groups before, but never like a travel group of people that I've never known. And I feel like those are the people that have the most fun. Like going on a trip where you don't know anyone, like you leave all the baggage behind and you're just like enjoying yourself, living in the moment and getting to know new people. And I think those are the best ones. And I hope that's actually on my bucket list for 2022 is to like do a travel group with people I don't know, make new friends, and just like, live in the moment and enjoy the trip that you're on.
It's kind of like a college experience, I feel like, only because, you're going in, you're like green, you're so excited, you don't know what's going on. And everyone's there with like the same purpose, like to travel, to have fun, have a good time, let their hair down. So it's like no pressure. And if anything, everyone's like, come drink with us, come hang with us. Let's jump off the boat together. Like it's such a vibe.
Especially the no pressure part. Like, when you go on trips with your girlfriends, like you got to have the fits ready. You got to have the pictures. Like, this is just like, okay, I'm going on a trip with a group of people that I don't know. The most important thing is like trying to get to know people and know the culture instead of like, okay, we want to take a picture here and here and here. But I think that's the best part.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I feel like a lot of Black companies are like really tapping into that too. Like there's so many Black travel groups now founded by Black millennials, and they are really curating the vibe that you want to experience. So that's amazing.
We're the movement. We're the movement,
yes,
for sure.
We are the movement. We are the movement. Honestly, we talk about traveling abroad, but like even domestically, I feel like we definitely have been doing it, especially with the travel during quarantine, for instance. So, because I remember it's a major question that I know I asked. I know I'm in the Google search. It's like, okay, best places to travel while Black. Best places to travel as a Black woman. Like these things are happening. And so it makes me think of too, like obviously deeper level, we know like the Green Book of the 1930s to 1960s, people know like, okay, where do you travel in the US as a Black person for safety reasons? And now it's kind of like, I feel like now we're doing it still, but with a level of just, I just want to feel welcomed. I want to feel comfortable, and I want to have a good time without having any pressure.
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
Oh my gosh, wait, Keeks, tell us more about this Green Book. Okay. I feel like I need more info. Okay. I'll ask the dumb questions. It's fine. Tell us more.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm gonna share some movie recs in the description when we post this. But the Green Book is literally like I think it started in 1930. I'm gonna say 1936. Like, let me be hella specific. But it was, I think, the Negro Green Book for travel. So literally, if you watch even Lovecraft Country, there was an example. Exactly. Okay, Sandra, you on it?
Okay, I love history now.
Yes, that's my thing.
It was literally a journal for Black people, like where to travel to. And basically there was people, basically like an underground railroad, I would just say, but for travel and to keep people safe throughout the whole journey, because people didn't want to see other people that didn't look like them and their state and their country. So we were definitely the security guards for each other.
Exactly. I love that. I think just like the concept of that, I think is great. And I love to see us do more of those types of things. Like, you know, they do have like the Black travel or travel noir, like, you know, the travel thing, which is great. And so we love to see that. But just the idea of having someone's back, like, you know, the Underground Railroad and like the idea of like cornrows and how that would be like the map to get out or type thing. Like seeing Black people have each other's back in community is what's so needed. There's a strong, it's getting better, but I think I agree. It could be better. It could be better. It could be better for sure. But I do think it's getting better. It's so beautiful when you go to a country, or just even when you walk into a room and you don't see anyone, but you see someone that looks like you. Yeah. And then you guys just look into each other's eyes and give each other that head nod. Like, I love that. I love that. Like, live for those moments. I don't even know you, but we see each other.
Period. I love that. So knowing all of that, and kind of like, I feel like I totally agree. Those moments are key. Like, what made you decide that traveling is such a priority for you?
I mean, you know, I come from a family of immigrants, so like traveling was just always a part of my like lifestyle and of how I grew up. But I just wanted to know how other people lived and like how other people like celebrate themselves, how other people just like think. Like, I love that. That's my favorite thing about traveling. And I've always had like a wandering mind. Like, you know, what if I didn't grow up like in a Catholic household? Like, would I be raised Muslim? Or, you know, what? And, you know, certain religions, like certain people have nose rings, and it's like, it's normal to have a nose ring at like 12, you know? What if I was like raised like Hindu? Like, I love that. So I try to just travel different places just to like embrace and know the culture a little bit more. So that's my favorite thing about traveling, for sure. And of course, the food.
Listen, the food is everything. You always got to try food. I feel like I sometimes get nervous traveling when when I'm traveling and like eating food, I get a little nervous because I'm like, ooh, like, what is that? What's in
You're
that?
not
like,
used to it. That's normal.
Yeah. And it's fun though. Like, it's cool. Like, when I studied abroad and I was in Europe for like, I did a semester, and I stayed with the host mom, and she would cook like really traditional, like Spaniard food.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the big major time change, I was like, I'm not even hungry. She's like making all this food. She's like making rice with eggs and tomato sauce. Like, what? Like, this is so weird. But like, you kind of get used to it. And it was crazy because I was like, we walked everywhere, but I gained like 25 pounds. And I'm like, I don't know.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
happened.
There's certain types of travelers, right? Like there's people, like we said, like the photo shoots, the fun, everything else.
Yeah.
And some folks are like the culture. It sounds like that's your vibe, like the culture, and let me really know where I'm at.
But don't get it twisted, because this girl is on the gram. She's posting all the cute pics. She's taking all the fits. I'm like, Sandra, how the heck why did you even pack that outfit? I mean, it's bomb, but it's like you're in Africa. You're over here in Bali. I'm like, isn't it hot?
One thing about me, I'ma have an outfit.
Period.
She is about the culture, but she definitely is about the flips too. Okay, like
too.
She does not play.
And we can do both.
We can do both. We can have it all. Like if one thing Insecure taught us is like, you can have it all. You can have the fits, you can have the culture, you can have it all. And I love that. It's hard for sure, but it's all about scheduling and prioritizing your time and making it happen.
So I want to ask too, for the audience, just to kind of give a little bit more like background on just like who you are. We teed it up a little bit in the beginning, but like tell us why you're like such a travel guru, and also how your like 9-to-5 kind of ties into this whole situation. Like, how did we get here?
Okay, so before the pandemic, I was I have a little motto where it's always like, put yourself first before. Well, it was much a meaner way, but I'm just gonna be like, nice.
No, give us the meme. Give us the meme.
In that case, I'm always like, fuck that job, because you have to live your life first.
I thought it was gonna be fuck these hoes. Fuck that job. I knew it was something.
You have to live your life first. Like I've been in so many different experiences where I've seen different things. Like I've worked for this agency where one of my coworkers like got hit by a train, and literally like, you hear it, you see Instagram posts about it, or you see tweets about it. Literally his position was up like the next week. And I'm just like, this man is literally fighting for his life. And you guys are like, okay, the business has to continue. We need somebody else to fill his spot, which I understand, but it's just like, he was a part of our little family. Like work should be a family oriented environment. You're there 9-to-5, some others 10-to-6. You see these people Monday through Friday. Some other people see them Monday through Saturday, So it's just like, we're supposed to be family. You can't just kick someone to the curb like that. So at that moment, I realized like, I realized it before, but just seeing it happen to someone that I knew, I was just like, it's all about living your life first and putting yourself first, putting your family first, putting things that you believe in first, because at any given moment, life can change instantly, So if it's travel that you like, travel. If you like to exercise, put that first, put what you love first instead of that job. And it's that simple. It's really that simple.
Right. But I also am like, don't get it twisted either, y'all, because y'all still need that job. So don't be
exactly.
Okay.
And if you're gonna do something, like if you're gonna have a 9-to-5, also give it your all. Like, don't slack. I try to give my all as much as I can, because I love to see myself grow, whether it's in literally like traveling or just in my like 9-to-5, my professional life. I love to see myself grow, because we got to put that degree to work somehow, some way, So just seeing myself like working on my degree and just like putting myself to work and seeing myself evolve every single year it's beautiful. It's really beautiful, especially in a professional environment, because it was times where we couldn't work. It was times that women couldn't work. We weren't allowed to work. So it's great that I can be in a room full of people that look like me and people that don't look like me, and see how things are like manifesting for the company. So I love that.
That's incredible. And I feel like, it's something that a lot of folks took to heart, what you're saying in terms of like at the end of the day, what you're saying is like your life is not surrounded around your profession. Like there's other things happening in your life. There are other things that you want to do that you should prioritize. And I feel like if anything, this quarantine, this pandemic, COVID-19, it's put so much
COVID-19, 20 and 21.
Period.
Going into 22. Okay.
So much in perspective. And I think folks can really resonate with what you're saying now, more so if you said that, let's say 5 years ago, even though you were about that life, you know, a lot of folks would not just be able to see that it can be done, right?
Exactly. And it definitely can be done. Like, you know, like COVID has taught us that this can be done. And if anything, I feel like this is the best time to be taking advantage of that while people are still working from home, or even if you're not working from home, this is the time that you can negotiate that into your contract. Well, I need to, you know, I can be in the office 3 times a week or 4 times a week. I need, you know, we have to think about our mental health. Mental health is so important, especially during these times. Like COVID has taught us that, like, we need to take care of ourselves first. So don't be afraid to negotiate them contracts, y'all, because what's the worst that they can say is no. They need you.
Exactly.
I mean, I think too, like, so I know we're probably going to get into kind of like more on the travel side, break down how you're traveling around, how you're doing all these things. But I would love for you to tell the peeps what you do, and like the demand that is your job, so that people know that you're not like a photographer or something that has a more like free will vibe to it. Like, no, this girl's a super professional with hard hours. And so I want
people
you to start
swear
there.
I don't work.
No, girl, I swear you don't work. I'm one of them. I'm like, this girl, where she is? She's not working. And then I want you to break down, or like maybe list some of the like countries and places that you've been to. That would be, so let's start there.
Okay, so my job, like one great thing about my job is that I can take it anywhere for now. I mean, you can take it anywhere at all times, but you know, I feel like now companies see that, okay, we can do this from anywhere. We're doing shows over Zoom. We're doing set rehearsals over Zoom. I'm actually working on a set rehearsal now for tomorrow for New Year's Eve, and everything's over Zoom, which is great. So my job consists of working with programming a lot. So I get the scripts, from everything from scripts, rough cuts, drafts, and everything has to go through our department, which is standard and practices. So basically, I would like to say that we're the eyes before everything goes into air, so we won't get charged. So the company won't get charged, or we won't get fined by the FCC or any other any other entities out there that loves to charge networks millions and billions of dollars for no reason. Wow. But so basically, we're just like being the eyes to the company. So if there's like curses, if there's like something like a sore topic that doesn't need to be discussed at the moment, we definitely notify that first, and we speak to the producers and we work with the producers before everything goes on to air. So basically, I like to say I watch TV for a living, but also I do all the stuff from the beginning. So whether it's scripts, reading like 100-page scripts, working with the producers, working with the creatives, working with the executives, that's our team. And it's a lot of work. So cool. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it is fun at times, especially if you work for a network where you love the content that the network is producing. I feel like that's important. And then you just love what you're watching and love what you're doing. So that's also important too. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of communicating and a lot of, you know, higher ups and dealing with different personalities. But one thing about working remotely, it's definitely helped, because you can just like, if you don't feel like responding to someone, you can take a breather and get back to them later on instead of like face to face.
I think one thing, or a lot of things of what you're saying, like this role is very diligent, like, you know, and it's one of those roles that sounds like people, if something goes wrong, they are looking at your team to blame. So it's one of those things where you need to have 1,000% super focused, right?
1,000%, 1,000%. But at the same time, I'm able to like coordinate my schedule where, you know, if something is due 3 days from now, I can get it done in 2 days to make sure that I'm putting time for myself. So it's always about, it sounds crazy, but like scheduling is everything for me, because if I want to make time for myself, I also have to make time for my real work and make sure that's done so I can have enough time for myself and my friends and my family.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're planning before any breakdowns occur.
Oh yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. If we want to get anything done in this life, we definitely have to plan. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, everything doesn't go as planned as all the time, but at least you know you're focused on something. You have to aim for something in life, or you won't aim for nothing at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, come on, quotes. Come on, quotes.
Right.
I love too, because oftentimes too, when we hear kind of going, what Eb was saying earlier about like the types of folks that you typically hear touting this nomad lifestyle, or not even nomad, but lots of travel, et cetera, in their yearly to-dos. It's kind of folks that are working independently. But what you're saying is like, no, you literally are working with producers. You are integrated into the team. So it's not anything where it's like just you. Yes, you're creating your own schedule and forming your own level of balance, but there are folks that are depending on you.
But even the nomad life, I feel like people don't talk about it enough. Like, I feel like they're also creating schedules too, because you have to have some type of schedule, some type of income, even if you're like working at a coffee shop as a nomad or babysitting for a family, there's still a schedule. And I feel like nomads don't talk about that enough, and they just make it seem so easy, and it's not, you know? So they should talk about the nitty gritty, about like putting time in and working jobs, or even working for yourself. I feel like working for yourself is the biggest and heaviest job ever. I commend anyone that does it, because it's not easy, because you always got to figure out like your schedule. Yes, you working for yourself, but there is no 9 to 5. Like, there's a 9 to 9 when you're working for yourself. and you know, you just want to keep creating content, or keep like putting yourself first. And that's more important.
Exactly.
I think that's so interesting. And I think, it does look easy traveling around. But see, for me, I'm like, I don't know if it's just maybe like my position currently, but I'm like, okay, let's say I'm like, all right, I scheduled myself out. We did this. We got this project done early. The thing is, we have a last minute meeting. It popped up on the calendar. Oh crap, I'm supposed to be on a flight right now. What am I going to do? Or like, I'm, at the spa, whatever, like it's happening. I'm at the Springs, whatever. And it's like, someone's like calling you like, hey, we need this report. Can you like send this over? What do you do? Like, I mean, obviously that's something you cannot plan for, but it's kind of like,
I call those calendar bullies, where they just like to put things on your calendar. That happens to me all the time. But I also feel like at this big age, and I feel like in our careers, we have to learn to speak up for ourselves. So when I first started my career, it was just all about the company. Like, I was afraid to take days off. Like, I just like, my life depended on this job. But then I realized, hold up, like, I'm human, they're human. We have to learn how to communicate. Hi, like, I did this, I did that. We are not curing cancer. We work in the entertainment industry. So it's just like, I did this, I did that. If you need me, here's my backup. If there's no backup, you have to then figure it out, because I am not here to help you figure it out. I'm taking my days off. And, it's all about communication. Like, it sounds easier said than done, but it is that easy. And it took me years to figure that out, because it's been times where I was like in South Africa, and I was getting an email like, hey, do you know what this is or this? And I would freak out. I would have panic attacks. And then when I realized like, that's not healthy for me, I had to learn how to communicate more. Just like, hi, I'm not in the office. My out of office is on. My out of office message is on. Please revert back to my backup, or when I get back in the office, we'll figure it out.
That's it. I love that. Reclaim your time.
Reclaim your time. Setting boundaries is very, very, very important, because at the end of the day, they've all been through our positions. They all been there. So just because someone's higher than you or below you, it does not mean anything. You come first, because at the same time, everyone's fighting battles. You never know what battles people are fighting. So if you're taking days off, no matter if it's just for leisure or pleasure or for family, people should respect that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I feel like, and it might be something that you just got to do in doses. Like, maybe at an entry level position, you can't be doing this for 6 months at a time, but you work your way up to that if that's what you want, and you just make it happen. I think too, like, I wouldn't say gone are the days, because, I was a consultant for the first couple years post undergrad, and the hours and the time commitment and just the claiming of your time was just next level. But I think there was also a situation where folks touted, oh my gosh, I didn't take any vacation days this year. And they were super happy about that. And I'm like, you got the game twisted. You got the game twisted. Why are you
use them days, honey? Right. Use them days. I don't know who needs to hear this, but use them days. Don't leave no days behind.
Right. For what? Why are you doing that? No days. Okay, so tell us what you did with your days. Okay, tell us about the best travel experience that you had, and perhaps the worst.
Best travel experience. Well, first I will say 2021 has been my best travel experience to date because of the flexible work schedule, because I was able to like, you know, prioritize my days and just like put work here and travel this way. So 2021 has been the best for me. I was able to go back to Greece. That's my favorite place to go to because it's very relaxing. You're not really doing much. Greece is beautiful, but once you see certain things, you know, you get it off your list, you check it off like, okay, I went to Athens, seen this, seen that, relax.
Right.
Best thing to do. That's my favorite thing to do on a trip besides eat is to relax, because you don't get to do that back in America because your mind is always running, or you're on social media, or you're answering emails. So being able to just like turn off and like unplug and relax is my favorite thing to do. Maldives is also one of my favorite trips.
Haven't you been there more than once? I feel like you've been there.
No, I've only been there once. Like this year is my first time going to Maldives. So I've been to like Thailand more than once, which I love. I think every Black person should travel to Thailand or just an Asian country in general, because they act like they've never seen us before. And it's very interesting.
Were they taking photos of you? Were they taking photos?
Were they touching my hair? And I'm just, and I'll look at them like, you don't touch a Black woman's hair. Like, that's not something you do. Like, you know,
like, well, this picture's gonna happen.
I just find it so like interesting. I'm just like, y'all act like y'all never seen Black people before, but I love it because they're also welcoming. They mean no harm. So it's just like, you know, we're welcoming you to our country, like welcome, like, you know, so I love that. So, and it's very cheap, very easy to travel. The transportation system is way better than America, way cleaner. Everything but America is cleaner and better. Okay. America been giving ghetto lately, but that's a whole different podcast.
Is it though?
Listen, okay, I think we just changed the subject to America is giving ghetto.
It's giving ghetto.
What's happening?
It's giving ghetto, okay? Like, I need the president to start presidenting because at this point, Sleepy Joe is tired.
He's tired.
He was down bad. He was sick. Okay, he's recovering. He's trying to get it together. I hope he gonna get it together. Because
me too.
He's trying to. I'm blaming the House. Okay, Joe, I got you. It's that Senate that don't know how to act.
Joe Biden.
Take me out to dinner. Love it. In Greece, okay?
Period.
Okay, what about your worst? I know, like, you know, it could be just that one experience, but we want to know about it.
I'm trying to think of an experience that I've had someplace that I wasn't. I mean, to be honest, as much as Greece is my favorite, I'd had like a few instances in Greece where I was just a bit uncomfortable. I've been to Dubai a few times, and actually in Dubai, I went to the beach, and one thing about me, I love to do my history. I love to do my research before going to a country. So Dubai, I make sure that I was covered in certain areas. Like I was covered most of the time, like, you know, long sleeves, and you're allowed to wear shorts, but it has to be like, you know, below your knees. So I was making sure that I was like abiding by their culture, because I didn't want to I didn't want to be looked at as an outsider, even though I was already an outsider. So I went to the beach, and the guy was like, oh, how much? And I'm like, sir, I'm on a beach covered, basically head to toe, and you're going to say how much? I didn't know if I should take that as a compliment, because now you just seeing my face. So maybe you're saying how much because my face is ready, or I didn't know how to take it. I was just like,
oh my God.
I was so embarrassed. But then I found out the reason why he said how much is because a lot of African women who come from Africa and they seek refuge in Dubai, the only way they're able to make money is to sell their bodies, which is sad, and something should be done about it. But, you know, I understand, because that's how they make a living. But so if they see a Black person, they just assume that you're straight from Africa. Like, yes, I am from Africa, but I'm African American. Mm-hmm. They don't know that until you say something. and they just go up to you and say how much.
Right.
So
Oh, you
what
know
would
what?
be like something that you learned culturally? Because I mean, that's insane. I would have never, like, that's the greatest thing about traveling is like you don't learn sometimes you can read the things, but like it's better when you experience them and then you're really like, wait, I understand this better, or like, oh, I get this, or oh, I didn't know X. Like, you know, going to Thailand and people thinking you're famous because you're Black and they're taking photos, or like, you know, going to Dubai and this guy saying how much because, and then you learn later, like, oh no, like Africans come here and that's why they sell their bodies and that's why he said that. Like, what other like cultural thing have you like been introduced to, like that you were like, ooh, like like I remember I went to France and someone walked past us, we were all in a group, so of course we're very American, giving a tour, and he was like, go back to America. So I'm like, okay, like French people, like they hate Americans. Like I think everyone in Europe just hates Americans. Everyone thinks we're lazy, we eat McDonald's, and Donald Trump was like crazy. Like that's what they
yes. One thing I will say is like not to react as I would in America, because I'm quick to like react like we're all not the same, or, you know, because you're in a different country and you don't want to prove them right. You don't want to prove them right by like reacting the way they think that you would react, and especially as Black women in different countries. So you try to just prove them wrong by saying like, you know, being nice, killing them with kindness. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes unless it gets physical, like I feel like we should just use our words, you articulate ourselves as we know to do, and to just prove them wrong. Like when that guy said that to me, yes, I was in shock, but I was just like, sir, I'm American and I'm not selling anything. And he was like, oh, okay. He didn't say I'm sorry, but he just said, oh, okay. Like I was just like, yeah, now you know.
The more you know. And it's interesting though, and I think that's all part of travel. And I feel like too, it's one of those things where you want those honest conversations sometimes, right? Because sometimes here it's like covered under layers and layers of things that by the time you dig deep, it's like, okay, it's either overtly racist or you know, you're just excluded from the conversation, period. But at least in these situations, it's part of traveling in a way. So I mean, that's interesting. I do want to talk too about like the cost, okay? Because I think when folks think about travel, the first thing that kind of gets their mind, or a lot of folks that would deter them, is like, oh, too expensive, I can never do this, it's just out of my will. Just not seeing that it is possible, again, with planning and balance and all of that. So break it down for the folks.
And saving. Listen, you can always find a cheap ticket to go anywhere, and I'm all about the cheap tickets. But you know, sometimes I like to pay a little extra for a little leg room, a little chimpanzee. So I like to drink on my flights. But I feel like the cost of travel, like it's all about, again, planning and saving, which I do a lot of. But I tend to splurge a little bit on the flights, because I love to get there comfortably. I love to sit on a flight comfortably. And it depends on what you want to spend your money on. Is it the hotel? Is it the flight? Is it the excursions? Is the sightseeing? You know, what you want to do. And me, it's always about my room and board, meaning like, you know, how I get there and where I'm laying my head, because that's very important to me. Even though I'm probably not going to be in a room as much, but I just want to make sure that when I do get somewhere, that I'm safe, that I'm able to like enclose myself and no one's going to do anything to me. And this is like safe enough for a Black woman, especially when you're traveling alone. So that's really important to me.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head right there, because I'm like, no, if there's one thing I am going to splurge on, it's making sure that the lodging is correct, not even safety, safe. Also your stuff, your like, you know, just the environment. And especially
it happens all the time.
All the time. Those folks who do the, you know, the hostels, I'm like, okay, there's a reason they exist, but I'm like, they don't exist for me.
I know. Never again.
I'm not the customer.
Never again.
It's crazy because I've actually done a hostel before, but I did my research before going. So there's like different type of hostels. There's hostels where you can like be, and well, you can pick a room where you're like in a room with different people. It can be like co-ed, or because the hostel that I did was like co-ed, but you can also pick lounge with someone else, right? Or you can pick a single room with your private bathroom. So I did like a single room with a private bathroom, and it was so nice. It was like a condo within a hotel, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
It had 2 levels. You just have to do your research. I feel like hostels also get a bad rep.
They do.
And they do. They
Present. I'm the one on Yelp. Don't do this.
And I'm all about reviews. If you go somewhere, definitely Yelp it, Google it, do all the above. If it's great, we want to know about it, you know? And if it's bad, we want to know about it too. So we won't make the same mistakes.
Any hacks when it comes to flights, when it comes to, you know, lodging, excursions, anything that folks should just know that they should do?
Absolutely. I definitely think Google is definitely my best friend. I use Skyscanner all the time. Like, even though like you can do like Google flights, I feel like Skyscanner just had like, they got the key. They got the key for sure. You're able to see like all the different routes. You're able to see the cheapest flights. And I love that. And when you go right to their website, to whatever website they send you to, you see it right there. So I love that. So
Skyscanner is a good one. It's a forgotten one by folks, because I feel like a lot of folks used it in college. Like, okay, let's use that little student discount.
People use them like Hopper now, and I'm not a big fan of Hopper because like flights go up and down all the time. You can get a cheap flight the day before you leave someplace, but I'm not a big fan of Hopper. But Skyscanner is definitely my best friend.
Okay, sounds like I'll be returning back to Skyscanner.
People sleep on it.
So going back to like the finance vibe of it all. So I know, okay, so this is people are like, you do 30% savings, then you do 10% to the church or whatever you're doing, however you're splitting your money up. How much would you say, like, okay, if you're really into travel and travel is a priority for you and you're like, you know, I'm really wanting to step up my travel game, you should definitely follow Sandra, number one. And because she goes to all the beautiful places. But how much would you say? Like, you should save 10% of your income. You should save 20%.
If you can, I know this sounds like outrageous and probably like impossible, but if you can, 50%, really, if you can, if you can. Like, and when I mean by 50%, I mean like, after you done, like, let's say you get your check, after you done paid your bills, whatever you have left over, 50% of that. And you live off what you could live off. And I feel like it's so possible because like, we tend to forget like, okay, we can cook. We can make, like, we did it through college. Like, you should have seen my checks in college, right? Working on campus, like we did it through college. So it's like, if you can, 50% of that. But realistically, at least 25.
No, but you know, the biggest question too, you got to ask yourself, is it a priority? Because you could say all you want that it's a priority, and then all of a sudden your check comes and it's not so much a priority. So if you want to make it a priority, clearly Sandra's telling you it's possible, but this is what you have to do. And if you don't, be honest with yourself too. Like, you know, the cafe down the block is just fine for you. I
agree.
You got to make it happen. So I love that. Okay. You got to just be about it. What's on the horizon this year? It's coming up. Like, what you said you planned. Take us through the process.
So this year, it's funny because I have like a list of things that I wanted to do, but I truly want to focus on a little bit more career, as crazy as that sounds, because I don't know, I just want to get to a place in life where I don't have to work anymore because working is truly ghetto and I'm just like over it. So, so I'm just trying to figure out other outlets, like even like besides my 9-to-5, what other outlets can I take that's going to give me a cushion, that's going to give me an income where I'm able to like eventually work for myself, you know, or eventually work for a company that understands my lifestyle, that understands my mental health. So that's important to me for this year. And then as for travel, I'm getting to that age where people are just getting married and they love the destination weddings, which I'm all for. So I'm doing a few destination weddings this year, which I'm excited about. So one of my first trips will be Ibiza. So I'll be in a wedding in Ibiza. So I'm excited for that. And I've never been to Ibiza too. So I've been to Barcelona, I've been to Portugal, but I've never took that extra flight to Ibiza.
Yeah, I did. I did like 2 years ago. It's get ready for techno. I'm excited. Get ready for beach. Get ready for, you know, it's such a vibe. And I totally feel you, because I feel like depending on the year and depending on the friend circle, everything like that, like your travel plans can completely change. So I love that you're open to it, because literally when I tell you over the past week or so, like probably 6 of my line sisters or so, like just announced that they're engaged and all.
I love that. Love is in the the air.
Love is in the air, child. It's flying domestic. Doing what it needs to do. So between that and like, you know, a ton of my friends, including me, turning 30 this year, it's like the trips are happening and the trips are being planned. So it depends. And so I love that you're planning in advance to say, okay, a wedding's on the horizon. Let me get this career checked out. Let me get my plan. But travel is still obviously a priority.
1000%. Travel is always a priority for me.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's like the best because I think you learn the most. You get to see a lot. Yeah. And it's really nice to see how like other people live. I think I love to travel. Like my parents always say like, yeah, you're always on a flight. I'm like, I am, because I like to see stuff. Like if it's a domestic flight, like in the US, or even just like, you know, going on vacation, like I'm just always about like, get me out of here, get me out of real life, check me out. I am good. I want to have a good time.
Do it now while we can.
Yes, Sandra, I want to know like some safety tips. Like what are things that you do to like ensure that you're safe while traveling, especially while Black? I mean, I think, you know, people don't really think about stuff like that. Sometimes you're kind of like, let's just go. And then it's like, you get there and you're like, oh my God, where are we? You're like traveling with some random guy all of a sudden, and now you're in some weird place. So like, how do you ensure your safety to make sure that you're not getting whiffed away somewhere remote?
Honestly, because I pick up a lot and just go, I just always make sure that at least one person knows where I am. Whether it's like a family member, a good friend of mine, they have my contact, they know how to reach me, and they know where I would be. Another thing I would say is like, when I do travel, I love to get like a travel international SIM card. Sorry, it's really loud in my background.
They trying to travel too.
It's her little doggy. Is it your doggy?
Mind you, my apartment complex is really like very quiet. And I just looked outside and he's like playing with his dog in the rain. I'm like, sir, like, okay. Like out of all the days, you want to have your rain jacket on.
You know, with your... it's the others. It's the others. Okay.
It's pouring. Noah's definitely building an ark right now. And you want to be playing outside.
Right. No.
But I will say having a travel SIM card is really important. Like I know some phones come with like international plans, but if you don't have that, because AT&T is really ghetto and AT&T loves to charge you for just breathing in another country. So I love to have like a travel SIM card, or just at least pay for like an international Wi-Fi plan where I'm able to contact or reach anyone, and anyone can reach me, because that's really important. And always have your head on a swivel. Don't befriend everyone out there, because not everyone has the best interest for you. And just make sure someone has some type of way of getting in contact with you. And pepper spray.
You're right. One thing too,
a little travel size pepper spray.
Yes. Another thing I want to add to that, I believe it's called STEP. Because I remember I did that when I went to Tanzania. You have to it's good to just get yourself locked in with the U.S. Embassy of whatever country. If you're going somewhere really not crazy, but really far out, really international, make sure that you know what's going on, how they perceive the U.S. at that period of time, and making sure that you're registered with the embassy. So if anything happens,
they're coming to find you.
They know you're there. They know you're there.
No, they know
if
you're there.
If they come to find me, that's a whole other question. But at least they know.
I completely agree. Especially if you're going to like a third world country, like make sure that your embassy knows you're there. And and just always check like the website too. It's free to check the embassy websites before you go there, just to see what's going on, especially now. Like now you just need different requirements. Some people are getting stuck places. I have like at least 8 people that reached out to me like, hey, like, what do you think about Paris for New Year's? I'm like, listen, I want to go to Paris for New Year's, but it's so hard right now because everything is locked down in Paris. You can do different parts of France though, but Paris itself, a lot of things are locked down. There's a form that you have to fill out, which you could only get from their embassy. And then you have to download a whole entire app. And a lot of people don't know that. And it's like, they're not going to tell you that until you get there and you're stuck there and they won't allow you into their country. And next thing you know, you're back on a flight back to America, the ghetto. So it's like, Do your research before you go. Go on their embassy sites. Like every country has an embassy site, and it's very simple and very easy just to even see their requirements. Maybe you need a COVID test 72 hours prior. Maybe you just need to be vaccinated, like just to make sure.
Yeah, and I would also add, like, probably don't tell people where you're staying.
Yeah.
Make sure you just keep that, like, your location sacred to just either just you or the people that you came with
until you're back.
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking to be in another country. My dad always reminds me that movie Taken. She's like, yeah, we live here and this, that, and the third, and they came and snatched her up. So you got to be careful.
This is my home now.
Right. I'm the captain now. Okay. Yeah. No, you got to be freaking careful out here in these streets.
You do.
But I love. Go ahead, Keeks.
I was gonna say, I feel like we gotta just make sure we bring it home too, to the ghettos of America too. Like, so, we're talking a lot about international travel, and but I think another thing that folks have recognized, especially Black people, myself included, is like the fact that there are a lot of places here that I've just never even thought of visiting. That now I'm like, you know what? It might be cool to just take that weekend getaway. Like, have you done that at all? Like, are there any states or cities here that you'd recommend?
I've done a few that I've never been to before that I thought was great. Like I was able to go to, I went to Arizona, which was like crazy. And I had the best time of my life. I've never been to the Grand Canyon, got to visit the Grand Canyon, like in Nashville, great food, great barbecue, amazing barbecue, and amazing music history. And one of the places I want to visit, hopefully next year, would be, I believe South Dakota. So I can go see like Mount Rushmore. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. You're like, that's where them hats are. Like, yeah, girl.
I'm with you, girl. I was like, maybe they're in DC. I don't know.
Utah, like
the so-called founding fathers, child. They're in South Dakota. They would be in South Dakota where most of the Native Americans were.
Right. Exactly.
Taking land that was already discovered. So I would love to go to South Dakota, seriously, just to like explore more. And I've been exploring California more. Like I'm not a California native. I've been to like places like Pismo Beach, which I've never been to before, and it was great. Went dune riding on the beach, so that was fun. San Diego, which is beautiful. San Diego, even though honestly California itself is just expensive, but I was like, if I could live anywhere, I probably would live in San Diego, but it's still expensive. But so those are the few things I have on my list for America the Ghetto.
I love it. So I want to know the grand tour. How do you keep it luxury while traveling? Because for me, like when I'm thinking about traveling, I'm just like, okay, I've never prepared. So if the weather's cold, I don't do enough research. That's my problem. So I'm never prepared with my clothes, but I just like pack stuff that's like in my closet. Like maybe it's a cute outfit here and there, but like, I watch Atlanta Housewives and all these, they're like fabulous. And I feel like you were definitely on that status of just being fabulous when you travel. So like, how do you keep it cute in a place where it's like, maybe you're walking a lot, maybe it's hot, maybe it's, like.
I mean, so I have my own fan line.
I have a fan. I got a fan, girl.
So, when you got the little fits and you're hot, because I'm always hot. So I always use my fan everywhere I go. But also, depending on where I'm going to, I try not to wear too many designer items because you just also want to make sure that you're being incognito, still being fashionably cute at the same time. And you can be fashionably cute without the designer stuff, So I just make sure that I'm like being safe and making sure that everything I have on is just like someone won't snatch me up or snatch my items up. But yeah, so I just try to keep it simple. I try.
No.
I mean, so clearly, if you about that, like,
Evidence is not having it. She's like, no, you do not keep it simple.
It is not. I've known Sandra for like 3 years. This is ridiculous. She's over here trying to be so humble. Her outfits are like killer. Like, she's not just like wearing like jeans and a crop top. It's like bright colors, like it's a skirt with like jean pants and like a button down and a like she's like New York Fashion Week. Like this is, don't let her fool you guys, okay? Like no, not at all. I don't know what she's talking about right now.
I mean, when we die, the clothes can't go with us, so we might as well slay now while we can before we get into heaven.
Listen, you know what? I want you on a Black Sex in the City. You know, like that's what I want. That's what I want.
It's so funny because I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Sex in the City because I've been watching all the episodes from the beginning.
Yes.
And I'm just like, these women were the epitome of what I'm trying to be now. Like they were still in their careers. All of them were career women, but also trying to live their best lives. Like, and I'm talking about fashion pieces. Like Carrie owned like 6 Dior bags in just season 2. And I'm like, girl, these Dior bags are going for $4,000 a pop. Like, how are you able to afford this?
And she was a writer.
She was a
it's
writer.
still the question. It's the question we all ask.
Doing what she loves, writing and living in a rent control apartment in New York City, which is completely like impossible to find nowadays. Like, I don't even think that even exists nowadays. So it's just like, you know, just live your best life. But in the same thought, if these women were Black, we would be considered hoes and bougie, but that's a whole different story.
Child, is it a different story? It's a different.
But a Black version of Sex in the City, a Black version of Sex in the City.
There's talks, but we need to make it actually happen. Because I think there's one in Nigeria. There's a Nigerian-based show that really does a Black-based Sex. Pretty much, they say it's a Black-based Sex in the City, and you know the fashions are on point. You already know.
Of course.
Yes. Here for it. You know what else is on point? What else is on point? Our show, the Black Creators Club. Okay, the best way you can support us is to share a show with a friend, to subscribe to our show on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, etc. Everything is at the Black Creators Club, and when you do, please rate and leave a review because we love to see it. All right. If it's good, if it's great, we'll leave it too. We'll read fan shout outs on the air. And also if you have a question or you know of a guest that you think would be perfect to join us, contact us at theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com. Yes. Sandra, we're not done with you yet, girl. We are not done. Right? We're going to just tee up this game that we like to call, or that we're calling now, 2022 travel. We kind of touched on some of the things that we want to do, or some of the things that you would love to do, but how about we categorize it a little bit? All right. So we're going to name some common reasons millennial folks, people in general, young adults, travel in the first place. And we want you to name the perfect destination for this. Okay. So the first option, let's say I want to go on a solo trip. That's actually a goal of mine this year. So I want to go on a solo trip. What would be the perfect, or where would be the perfect place to do that? Wait, 1 second. Is it my sound?
Oh, no, you're good. So I have 2 places. So I say Mexico or Paris.
Girl, Mexico, don't they be snatching people up in Mexico? Hold on, wait.
Hear me out. I feel like Mexico gets a bad rep, but that's also because of the places people go. People are getting snatched up in like Tijuana, and you you would get snatched up. You went to Tijuana. Like, oh my gosh, it was so close, I could drive there. Yeah, but you still gonna get snatched up. Like, go to places that you know that you'll see a lot of people that look like you. Again, Cancun, but I also think like Cancun is a little overrated because it's a little more expensive. So I say Mexico City. Mexico City is a secret gem that no one's really talking about right now. The food is amazing. You still get the cheapness of like going to a different country. You still get the culture. You still see people that look like you. And it still kind of feels like you're in America, but with a little bit of tropical feeling. So I definitely say Mexico City. I actually have friends that are living there right now. Like, just picked up and went to go live in Mexico City with their families. Like, I have a friend who's married with a child and is living in Mexico City, and her 4-year-old son is learning how to speak Spanish, which I think is like amazing. Like, take advantage of these times while you can. So that's I definitely say Mexico City. And because great thing about Mexico City, it's easier to find people that speak English there. So just in case you're still learning the language, you can find someone that understands yours. Of course, Paris. Paris is like my favorite city in the whole wide world. But if you're afraid of like the language barrier, and because of the money, the rate exchange is a little bit more expensive there, that's the reason why I would say Mexico City.
Love. Okay. Mexico City and Paris. Love that. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a bomb solo trip either way, right?
And it's interesting because I feel like Paris is so like coupley and they have the love bridge. And
people are not getting into like the Black owned Paris, which is a lot. And
where is that at? Tell us
more.
It's there.
Baby, it's there. Black owned everything in Paris, Black food, Black fashions. It's such a big community. And we tend to forget that a lot of Africans migrate to Paris too for a better living. And a lot of I would say Caribbean countries are also under the Caribbean, not the Caribbean, but the French Empire. So you have places like Martinique and Saint Martin, like people are living in Paris because they get visas to come there. So there's a lot of people that look like us and a lot of Caribbean culture out there.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. I don't want the solo trip to Paris. I'm taking you. We're going to Paris because I need to find Black Paris. I went to Paris and I did not see Black Paris. And now I feel like I missed out on something.
It's so crazy because another reason why I love Paris because I have family there. So I feel like it's my second home. So I love taking my friends there because I've had people like you who didn't have a good time the first time. Like they seen all the normal things, you know, like the Eiffel Tower and stuff. But then when I take them with me and you get like, you're literally like family at this point. You're hanging out with my family. We're doing all the things that we would basically do in America. And it's just like, oh, I can see myself living here, you know? And that's the great thing about travel. When you can see yourself, envision yourself living somewhere, that's how you know it was a good trip.
Oh that's exactly, that's my criteria to say like, this is a favorite city or favorite country of mine. It's like, if I just, you know, you have that moment where your breath is just taken away and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I did this. Yeah, it sounds like you have those moments a lot, which is great.
I know. I was like, well, see, she's not really like a secret traveler because she has family in Paris, family here, family there, so and friends living in Mexico City. She knows what's up. Okay, so yes.
But listen, that's the good thing about traveling, though. You tend to find family that you never knew you had. Yep. Like, oh, girl, we cousins. Let's get to know each other because I'm trying to visit there anyway.
I'm trying to visit. Okay,
that's hilarious.
Wait, so tell the people and slash myself too, like where you said your family is from. I think you have Caribbean background. Where exactly?
Yes, my family's from Haiti, so
okay, makes sense. Yeah. Right. Love that.
Yes. Okay, so your next trigger word to try to find us a place to go is we have a little boo. Maybe we have a couple boos, but where are we going on vacation?
Okay, vacation. I say for luxury vacation. Is given.
Is he paying for it or are we paying for it? Like what's happening?
No, he paying.
Okay.
He a boo.
That ain't a vacation
if it's a vacation, he's definitely paying, or he don't need to be a boo. Period. So it's giving Maldives, it's giving South Africa. Let me tell you something about South Africa. It's very expensive to get there. But once you get past the airline tickets, you're living like a king, you're living like a queen. The rate, the currency there is just so cheap. And Uber, there's Uber there. So you're like catching Ubers for like a 30-minute drive and you check your account and it's only was $5, like $5 American dollars. Like South Africa is very cheap. I think it's safe. Of course, there's areas that aren't safe, but you just have to also do your research and make sure that you're with someone, your boo, who will protect you.
What city did you visit in South Africa?
I did Cape Town and I did Johannesburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main areas, which is great. You got, and I feel like you get that balance of culture, history, and just like Black excellence too. So that's amazing. Love that. Okay. Speaking of, it sounds like all the trips have an element of luxury, but let's say you really want to do a luxury trip. What place are you just like, this is the place to go to?
Luxury. Oh, Greece. Ooh. Greece is just gorgeous. Any island is gorgeous, whether it's Milos, whether it's Santorini, whether it's Mykonos. If we talking luxury, Greece. I'm talking about villas on a cliff, waking up to breakfast in the morning, waking up to lunch in the afternoon, the spa-like bed, the spa-like tub. Like, I love it. Greece for sure, 1000%.
Love that. Yes. Love that. It sounds amazing.
And Black women in luxury is just like, it's just a good look for us.
Yes. We were born this way, okay?
We were definitely born this way, all about the luxury. And yes, that video that you posted, Sandra, with the wherever you were staying in the hotel, girl, I was like,
it was great.
Oh my God, it was like circular. It was so nice. I was like, this is something else. I've never seen this before. We need to figure this out. Okay, so the next one is you have your girls are like, we need a trip. We need a girls trip, just us. We need a bond. We need to have a good time. Where are we going?
Okay, we can go a few places. It's like, what type of time are we trying to have? Like black
the wildest fun time. That's what we do.
She want wildest fun. Love it.
I would say any Caribbean island for sure. Like I'm talking St. Martin. St. Martin is a beautiful, beautiful island. So much fun. I felt so safe there. Barbados. I don't know if it's because everyone just like is obsessed with Rihanna and we are too. So it's just like, we have that bond that we're like, oh my gosh, we're all family. So Barbados, anywhere with a beach for sure. Barbados, St. Martin, Jamaica's always a great time. Jamaica's always a great idea, to be honest with you. Like ever since Estella got her groove back, it seems like every time Americans go there, they think we're trying to get our groove back, but we just trying to have a good time. So definitely Jamaica, St. Martin, and Colombia. Colombia is definitely great. People
Keeks has been trying to go to Colombia for a whole year and a half now.
There's such a great and there's such a great history of like Afro Latinas and Colombia, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, so much art, so much food, amazing food, and it's very safe. I definitely recommend Colombia, Cartagena to be exact. Bolivia, I've heard is like amazing too, but I've never been to that area, but definitely Cartagena.
Nice, sure. Nice. Okay, and let's round it out. We want to do a birthday trip. Where would you go? I told you a bunch of my friends, mine included, it's big years for birthdays next year. Like, where should they go?
I mean, for the United States, if we want to keep it local, I definitely say Arizona is a great place to visit. There's so much history, like meaning like, you know, national parks there. You can go to like the Grand Canyon, which I think people should do at least once in their lifetime. We've all watched Housewives of Atlanta, and they put us on to different areas, like, you know, places in Florida I never even existed. I thought Florida was just Miami, to be honest with you. So there's different places in Florida that we could also explore, and it doesn't have to be South Beach. So I'll definitely say Florida. But if we're talking about international, even though I did have just one bad experience in Dubai, I'm not going to kick it off completely. I think that's a great area to just have a great time with your girls, live the luxury life, because like the luxury there, for some reason, is a little bit more affordable. And I will say Dubai for sure. If you're trying to live luxury, live the little life for a real quick moment, a real quick trip, Dubai is where to go.
Love. Okay.
Yes, I definitely had. Yes, exactly. She literally knows it all. Like, we need a guide. Like I said, we need a list of the places you've been so we could give a guide on social. Like, these are the places you should go. These are the places safe for Black women. So please text us, email us that list.
1000%.
Great idea. Great idea.
Because honestly, I would agree. Like Dubai, like what I've seen has been amazing. I don't know what their hotel prices are looking like, but their hotels look like kings, queens, like live here royalty. Like, it is insane. Yes. And then to add another place to Arizona, Sedona. If you haven't been to Sedona,
oh my gosh,
it is beautiful. Gorgeous. Another amazing place. And because Arizona, I think, is becoming, a lot of people were like, we're retiring there, but a lot of people are moving there. So I think Arizona is like understanding the like travel bit of it all, and they're creating more like luxury spaces. So especially like in Sedona, there's like this cool new like Clift hotel.
Oh my gosh,
I want to go so bad. It's like
I'm definitely looking that up.
Yes, I hope I saved it, and then I could maybe send it to you. But it has like glass, and you're like in the mountains, and it's
I love that
thing. It is so cool.
Because it's giving wellness retreat, and that's really important too.
That's it. That's it. You know what? That's the next place for me. Wellness retreat. Take it to Bali, okay?
Yes. Oh my God.
You do a little micro dosing over there? Yes. Is that what we doing? A little micro dosing? Okay, I heard it.
Sandra, this was so fun.
I had so much fun.
I'm so glad you did. Let our listeners know where they can find you or anything else that you probably want to share that we didn't touch on.
I'm on Instagram at Sandra_J, on Instagram, JAY. I love to travel. I'm very open. So if you hit me up on social media, on DM, I'll definitely respond, or I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But I mean, that's it. I'm just all about like wellness, health, and happiness, and just like living your best life. And don't let that job get in your way. You know, don't worry about that.
Yeah. You doing it right, they gonna keep you around, period. Right. So that's fine. Exactly. Love that. Well, you can find me chatting media, life motivation, all with a dash of style at Akila Friends. Ebony, where can they find you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram. I'm talking everything Black owned business, and of course the Black Creators Club at Ebony Chapman 12. I'm so happy that we had our travel guru here because New Year is coming up and we all need new places to go.
It's here,
yes,
girl.
It's
here. And we need the new places. So for sure, keep up with us at the Black Creators Club. We're going to get that list together, Sandra. We're going to have it on this platform too. So keep up with us if you want to know more about that at the Black Creators Club on all platforms, mainly Instagram. So thank you so much for joining us. And remember to always abide by your ABCs. Always be creating.
It's so hard to say it on Zoom. We have to like try to do our thing. So you guys know our saying. Y'all understand it. Y'all
always be creating, y'all. Bye.